optics and networks. That is the model number 5. It is 15/17 ECC82. So here in this particular model number 5, we are going to discuss about optical networks. Okay, so how the optical network evolution happened. So what are the terminology for networking, optical network node and switching elements, the WDM concepts here, and public telecommunication network overview. So that is the first part in the module number 5. So when it comes to the second part, it is optical network transmission modes and layers. So we are very familiar with the OSI model. So in this particular module, we are going to understand the OSI reference model, somewhat slight modification. So with respect to the optical fiber communication, what exactly we have modified. So OSI 7 layers is compulsory. So along with the 7 layers have been clubbed together and we will make it as a 4 layers. How it is made we will see. So in that synchronous networks, asynchronous transfer mode, OSI reference model, optical transport network, internet protocol. So all these things, the brief introduction about all the things and some of the few diagrams and all we are going to discuss. So in this particular module, we are going to understand the wavelength routing networks, the routing and wavelength assignment we are going to see. At the last part of this particular module, we are going to understand the optical switching networks. So when you're talking about the optical switching networks, we can understand that optical circuit switched networks, that packet switched networks, okay, multi-protocol label switching, optical burst switching networks, how it will be, the configurations, all those things we will going to discuss. So we are going to discuss like long haul application. That means what over the entire country. Okay, so that means what which covers the largest area, that is called long haul networks. So metropolitan area networks, access networks, local area networks. So these are all the topics which will comes under the model number 5. So compared to all other models, it was some this particular model is somewhat it is having some more concepts, so you need to remember more concepts. But the thing is what your all concepts you are going to learn in a brief way. Okay, so you're not going to detail with anything. So just understanding part of you, we're going to do it. So when you're talking about the introduction, their optical fiber network, commonly referred as optical network, we can say. So this is used for telecommunication. So as you all know that so today all the broadband cables and all will be made up of optical fibers only. So over the last 3 decades for the provision of a major infrastructure for voice, video and transmission. So in the later part of the period, telecommunication has changed due to the rapid growth of internet and World Wide Web. So here this is the major important thing we need to understand here is the internet as well as World Wide Web. So for this, to achieve this a lot with respect to the telecommunications, with respect to the optical fibers and the connecting devices, passive components, active components, all those things come into the picture. When you're talking about the optical networking technology, growing demands for sufficient as well as cost effective, as well as reliable, high service level, worldwide communications. So this is one diagram. So in this particular diagram, you can see that how that particular optical fiber evolution is network of how optical fiber network evolution has happened. So we are going to see that in the L and the x-axis we are changed, we are taken the years. So okay, so in the y-axis we have taken the switching time. Okay, so how much time has been taken. Okay, so when in the years of 1980s to 1990, that means what in the period of 1 decade. So SDH and SONET point-to-point communication is the first generation was happened. So in the first generation, SDH, SONET point-to-point communication was happening. So we are going to discuss all the SONET, SDH and all in detail. So there the switching time was 10 to the power of minus 1 second. That means what? Per second we are going to consider. But when it comes to the second generation, so wavelength routing has been included. So this particular wavelength routing is evolving from 10 to the that is per second to the per milliseconds. Okay, 10 to the power of -1 to 10 to the power of has gone. So now in the third generation, we have achieved still further switching time, further lesser switching time. What is that particular thing? Third generation will be using the optical burst switch and dynamic or fast optical circuits, which was happening. That is around in the 10 to the power of -16 watt micro. So it goes behind micro also. So it is nearing to the nano. Okay. So that means what intermediate switching time it was there in the third generation. Now after years, okay, so that means after 10 years we can switch, okay, by using the optical switch. So now in the present day where we are, so we are in the milliseconds. So we are in the milliseconds. So after 5 to 10 years, that means what? See, when the textbook is written, so written in the 5 years back. Okay. So now I can say that we are in the around milli to microseconds. We are using this particular concept now because in last 5 years you can see that there is the most of the evolvement, most of the encouragement is being given to the internet and all. Okay. So you can see that you can observe yourself that how much internet you are using, how many houses across your country so we're having the Wi-Fi connections, and before around 5 to 6 years and after 5 to 6 years you can able to see that one. So that much evolution has happened. So I can say that now we are in terms of milli to microseconds. So here it may be noted that synchronous digital hierarchy, what is the full form of SDS? Synchronous digital hierarchy or SONET. So these are things you can see in the diagram. So whatever the diagram I explained, so the same thing is been given in terms of the explanation. So now we can go for the optical network concepts. Here the network utilizing optical fiber as a transmission medium. So it provides a connection between many users to enable them to communicate with each other by transporting the information from a source to a destination. So it may also require that intermediate stage. See, end-to-end connection is the only thing which is required, but due to some of the losses, some of the amplification requirements and all, so it may be requiring the intermediate stage to process the data for control operation. Thus, the each stage of information transfer is required to follow the fundamentals of optical networking. So here is essentially this methodology for the interconnection of the various optical devices. See, interconnection of various optical devices and all we have seen in the previous classes in the previous module. So, for example, okay, then inline amplifier, pre-amplifier, booster amplifier. Okay, so optical amplifier. So with respect to the optical source and optical receiver, all those things are there. So all these things need to be connected to the optical link only, optical fibers only. So how the connections have been made. So all those things we have already learned. So now by using all these connections and all, so we are understanding the concepts of the higher order. So here we can see the optical network structure. So in this particular diagram, you can able to see that. So in the lambda 1, that means what? The lambda 1 indicates what? The signal with wavelength 1. Lambda 2 indicates what? Signal with critical nodes will take that particular signal, and any particular it will route it will path to go from one particular destination. See, destination node will be identified and it will be given. So to reach that particular destination node, so whichever the easier path is there and whichever the best suitable path is there, So we will take that particular optical network will take optical network will give that particular path. So the signal will pass. Signal will take that particular path and it will reach the destination.
This week also 50-50 again. But I not come. But I am coming to the evening this one, 2 p.m. there. I'll be in front of these two. But still I can't come.
So network. So here you can see this about signal on a dedicated wavelength that is destination node. Okay, so this particular okay is called as what light path. So light path. So in this that is lambda 1 and lambda 2 are the light paths in that case. So in addition, a control mechanism is also required to provide the data flow during its transmission in order to authenticate the entire data transportation between each transmitting and receiving node. So here I can say that based on the simple optical network scenario, okay, so fundamental things, okay, fundamental can be divided into three broad areas. So the first broad category is what optical networking terminology. The second is what the functions and types of the optical networking node and the switching elements. The third one is what wavelength division multiplexed optical nodes. So in this particular first thing, if we take optical networking terminology, so here networks are employing okay, so networks are employing optical fiber can transmit and receive using either a unidirectional or bidirectional. So what is unidirectional? What is bidirectional? One means what we can able to transmit that it is bidirectional. So despite of differences in optical transmission techniques, the fiber networking and fundamentals remain the same. So in order to send and receive messages across the optical network and transmission path, so your transmission path must be established. Okay, so either to switch messages to their final destinations. So here you can see that optical networking terminology. So in the optical network terminology, you can see that see this is the fundamentals. Once say that okay, the people are very much familiar with star as a mesh. Okay, so network topology is bus, ring, star, and as well as see that. Okay, so in the bus, what we can do, only one will be there. So further it's are interconnected. Okay, so here you can see that in the star terminology, so the center, one server will be there. So from that particular thing, many other end devices will be connected. So in the mesh topology, you can see that all devices are interconnected to every other devices. So that is what the called as what mesh, star, and ring, and as well as bus. So all these networking tech terminologies will be having their own advantages and their own applications. So you can see that in the ring configuration, data usually circulates unidirectionally. In the bus topology, the data will be generally circulating in the bidirectional way. So whereas in the star terminology, so the center hub will be splitting the to all nodes. Okay, so this particular star terminology we have studied in the passive device. So we can understand that in the star coupler, any one point you send the data at the output stage, all other ports will receive the equally divided signal. The same thing is happening in this particular star terminology also. So center hub will be there. So hub will divide the signal equally. That is very, very important. Okay. So when it comes to the ring and star topologies can be combined in order to make the mesh configuration. So you can see the mesh configuration for the center, all will be connected. So now if we make it ring connection, all will be connected to all. That is the combination of ring and star topologies if you make it. So it will come the next configuration called what mesh configuration. So here this particular mesh configuration provides the interconnections among the network nodes, all network nodes I can say. So finally what we can conclude is optical networks can be implemented using either a single or a combination of topologies. That is what exactly the concept. So next we can see that optical networking terminology. So your networking modes we can go. So here in the particular networking modes, you can see that there are two networking modes. So in which transmission path can be established. These are referred to either as connection oriented and connectionless. Okay. So connectionless or connection oriented, it means what wireless and wired. So when you come to the first one, that is connection oriented network. So in a connection oriented network, an end-to-end connection setup, generally referred as handshaking, is performed before the transmission takes place. So handshaking means what? So just a confirmation message will be sent from the transmitter, receiver will acknowledge that one. So that particular process, once it happens, then only the transmission is going to happen. That is that particular process, handshaking and all. So in the microcontroller subject and all, if people have studied that how the handshaking signal will be sent and received and all. Okay, the same thing is applicable here also. So and this is performed before the transmission takes place. So your connection-oriented networks employ the bidirectional communication environment to initiate the connection, so that the both source as well as destination, so they can be communicating with each other. So in that, so once the path is been determined, okay, so all subsequent information and the data are sent to and from the destination using the established connection. So once the handshaking is done, so it is clear that sender is sending, sender is ready to send, and receiver is ready to receive. So connection is also established properly. So once this beam connection is established properly, so we can send the data and we can able to receive the data properly. That is what exactly the concept. So here by contrast, there is no dedicated end-to-end connection in the connectionless networking mode, and therefore no explicit connection setup is performed before the actual data transmission. So in the connection oriented, I can say that handshaking can be done. So once handshaking is done, connection can be established properly. But in the connectionless, there is no explicit function which we are going to perform before transmission. So here, how the transmission will be happening then? So here, hence the transmission is simply launched onto the common fiber channel, such as bus or ring, which interconnects the network nodes. So once this particular connection, once the signal is being launched, okay, to a node, so the connectionless networking communication mode is often achieved by transmitting information in one direction. So without confirming the presence of readiness of the destination to receive the information. So once the information has been launched, so we can understand that, okay, we can understand that we are not checking the readiness of the receiver. Whether the receiver is ready to receive or not, we are not going to check it. That is one of the drawback. So in such networks, both addressing information and as well as data are organized in the small blocks. Those are called what? Packets. Okay. So where each packet is assigned with a unique number and sent in sequence such that destination node can reassemble them to construct the complete message. So here the two primary modes are, so we know that what is the two modes of switching the data in the network are what? Circuit switching as well as packet switching. So the packet switching is also called as what? Cell switching. So your end-to-end circuit is required to be set up before establishing a connection in the circuit switched mode. So here all the specific network resources necessary for the switching are dedicated for the particular transmission. So during which no other transmission can take place. Or no other transmission can access the infrastructure or resources. So when we go furthermore, that is such transmissions are continuous and hence arrive in the real time. So once the transmission is complete, the circuit is terminated and the resources can be available to the other users. Okay, so once the transmission has to complete, once the transmission is completed, so the resources will be released. Okay, so if the transmission is not completed, so resources are not free, so nobody can access that one until it gets over. For this particular case, we can say that circuit switching mode can be characterized as continuous, selective, and temporary. So continuously, when to send the data, we need to select the route, as well as once the completion of process is happened, so we are going to release the resource. So that is called as a temporary. So circuit switching is utilized in connection-oriented networks. Whereas packet switching will go for connection-less oriented. Okay, so here in the packet switching mode, so it implies a store and forward strategy. So your packet or cell switching, how it happens? So it happens like in the store and forward. It means what you have to go to store the data. So once the receiver is free, we are going to forward the data. That is store and forward strategy, where incoming messages in the form of blocks are forwarded to their corresponding destinations. Here sending or receiving a complete message in a single block requires a buffering stage where information can be gathered before it is sent to the destination. So alternatively, messages can be sent in a small blocks. This is called as what? Small blocks are called as what? Packets. Or even the smaller blocks. Okay, those are called as what? Cells. So these do not require such significant buffering stages. Hence, the message is divided into packets, which comprises a variable length block of data. So with a tight upper bound limit, or cell which incorporates a fixed length of block data. So here in the next particular parameter we can see is the network routing. So here routing refers to the process where any node finds one or the more paths to the possible destination in a network. So in this particular process, control and data processing functions are to identify the route and to handle the data during the journey from the source to destination. So here the simple routing process is known as control plane. So this particular control plane will be having the three stages. What are the three stages? Neighbor discovery, topology discovery, and path selection. So what is this particular neighbor discovery? So neighbor discovery is the first step whereby the nodes in the network discover the identity of their immediate neighbors and their connections to the neighbor nodes. So this is the first step. So neighbor discovery, the first step where the nodes in the network will discover and identify the immediate neighbors. Because neighbors means what? Immediate neighbors only we need to discover because to send the data, and whether the connection is there between them and all will be identified. That is called what neighbor discovery. So next thing is what topology discovery. So this is a process where a node discovers all the nodes in the network and how they are connected to each other. So now I want to send the data from a source node to destination node. So first thing is what a neighbor will be seeing that whether we have a neighbor, there is a connection. So in order to reach the destination, we have to see that how all other nodes. So we have one neighbor. For that neighbor, another neighbor node will be there. So like that, we need to see that from the starting to ending. Okay. So how all these nodes are connected. So whether the nodes are connected in a ring fashion or mesh fashion or how it is being connected. So that particular connection will give you the topology. So it may not exactly the exact topology. So it may be the combination of topologies we can get. So once the topology is once the network topology is known for us, the path from the source to destination can be determined using the path computation algorithm or routing protocols. So here a protocol is a set of standard rules for data representation, signaling, authentication, and error detection. So these are required to send the information over the communication channel. So your control plane therefore acquires and then provides the reachability information toward the network. So what is this particular reachability? This reachability or routing information is disseminated by routing protocol and is consolidated in forwarding table at each node. So this particular contains the identity of the next node and outgoing interfaces to forward packets addressed to each destination. So in order to handle the data effectively, so it requires an additional procedure which is known as data plane. So this particular data plane which allows the optical node to forward the incoming packets towards their destinations by using the information contained in the forwarding table. So this is where the data plane is very important. So yeah, this operation involves examining the destination address of packets, searching the forwarding table to determine the next hop and corresponding outgoing interfaces, and then forwarding the packets to the next hop. Okay, so next we'll go for the optical network node and the switching elements. So this is second one. Okay, so optical network node and switching elements. So here in the optical node, what do you mean by optical node? So optical node is considered as a multifunctional element that performs several tasks depending upon its type and network requirements. So what did it do? So essentially it sends the data, receives the data and resends the data or redirects the data. So redirects the data, that means what data means optical signal only, optical signal to its neighboring nodes. So that is the functioning of the optical node. So what optical node will do? It will send data, receive the data, resends the data. See why it resends? As I told you, store and forward. Okay, so once the receiving node confirms it is being received properly, then only it will delete the data, or else no. The resending or redirecting of optical signal to the desired networking nodes requires the node to perform either a routing or switching function. So your optical networks, okay. So it should be noted that when several optical signals travel in a multiplexed form, okay. So the networking node becomes a transmission system. So dependent since from different optical multiplexing techniques can be used, such as time division multiplexing or wavelength division multiplexing. Okay, so your optical node can also function as a router, okay, directing an input signal to a specified output port. So here a router essentially comprises optical couplers where the desired signal from an incoming multiplexed signal can be isolated from then directed or routed to the output port. For this particular reason, we can say that wavelength router. So in this case, the router will be called as what wavelength converting router, and since device is used to switch the wavelength by changing it to the compliant signal wavelength. So this particular process is called as what wavelength routing switch or simply the optical switch. So here we can see that the diagram. Okay, so what is the particular diagram of network? So here 3-port wavelength multiplexer is there. So it is a 3-port. That means that one signal will be the input port and another 2 signals will be the output port. So what exactly one signal you can see that lambda 1, lambda 2. That means what multiplexed signal is incoming, whereas lambda 1 and lambda 2 are getting separated and those are coming in port number 2 and port number 3. So on the other side, the demultiplexer part, you can see that lambda 1 and lambda 2, those are the separate two signals. Those are multiplexed and those are being sending in the lambda 1 and lambda 2. That means for lambda 1, lambda 2 in a single port, it means what after multiplex. So multiplexing will be demultiplexed to get a separate signal. Demultiplexing signals will be multiplexed to a single signal channel. Okay. So after that optical OADM, that means what optical add or drop multiplexer, that is fixed OADM, so which also comprises a wavelength add or drop device. So the diagram, when you see this one, I can see that optical OADM, we can see that lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 are there. So those are incoming in one particular port, that is port number 1 is incoming. So there is another provision of dropping the signal which is in port number 2. So in port number 3, you can see that adding the signal with what you call for that, there is a provision of adding the signal in port number 3, and in the port number 4, output will come into picture. So, well, in that case, you can see that lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 is coming. So in that we are dropping the lambda 1. So in the place of lambda 1, we are going to insert the lambda 4. Okay. So output will be like what? Lambda 4, lambda 2, lambda 3 will come. Okay. So that is how it is going to work. That means what one particular wavelength will be replaced with other. So we have, if you drop a signal, then only we can add the signal. So if we don't drop, we cannot add like that. Okay, that is one of the observation we need to make it. Okay, so in this particular switching, okay, optical switching, we can see it in the figure number D. So lambda 1, lambda 2 is there. So in the first port, in the second port, lambda 3, lambda 4 is there. So now in the output port, so instead of lambda 1, lambda 2, switching the lambda 1, lambda 3 to the port number 3. So and similarly lambda 2 and lambda 4, we are switching to lambda 4. That means what? Switching to port number 4. So you can just see that it's something like a shuffling. So that particular cross coupling we can say. So we are going to send the what do you call for that? Once we are going to demux, that means what? We are going to separate the signals. Okay. So after separating signal, we are going to add the signals of whichever the order we want. This is what one of the optical network switching. we can say. So you can see that the next diagram, that is optical. Okay, so reconfigurable optical add or drop multiplexer, that is ROAM. OADM is fixed one. So now reconfigurable also we are going to include. So in this particular diagram, you can able to see that there is a signal channel, that is one particular optical cable, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda up to lambda n. That means n signals are multiplexed and those are coming in a single cable. Okay, so once we use the demultiplex, so all those signals will be demultiplexed. That means what, all the n number of signals will be in different line. So now channels, now you can see that drop channel here. We can see that okay, n number of dropout channel. So here it is not fixed. So one channel should be dropped and another channel should be added, not like that. So here multiple provision is there. So multiples of signals can be dropped, and similarly multiples of signals also can be getting added. Because what optical switch will take care of all these things. So it will drop the signal, it will add the signals, and after adding it is going to multiplex the signal. Once it multiplexes the signal, it will send to a single channel, a single fiber link. This particular diagram will illustrating this one. So the first diagram indicating what, wavelength demultiplexer, simple. So second diagram indicates wavelength multiplexer. That is also one thing. So now combine all these together, we get optical add or drop multiplexer by inserting one particular port, that is add drop, add port and drop port. So next is what, 2 cross 2 optical switch. That means for cross switching can be happen. So after that, the last diagram is what, reconfigurable optical add or drop multiplexer. Okay, so the same explanation is written here. So now we can go for the optical cross connect. Okay, so you can see that optical cross connect. So figure indicates the block schematic. So in this particular block schematic, you can see that lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n, those are sent to the demultiplex port. Okay, so now here optical cross connect is at the center block. So all signals will be going to the optical cross connect. So you can see that IP, ATM, okay, so SONET and SDH are connected. So whichever the signal need to be cross connected, so those will be taken care. And once the signal formatting is being made, that will be sent to the multiplexing. So multiplexer will once again combine all the signal and it will be sent to the single channel. Okay, that is how it is going to work. So next I can see in the B diagram, that is fiber cross connections. So I can see in the fiber cross connection, the input signals are in 1, 2, 3, 4 format. Output also in the order. But in between the inside the box, what exactly happened? So you can see that 1 is connected to 2, 2 is connected to 4, 3 is connected to 1, and 4 is connected to 2. That means what, that is called what cross connection we are going to make. So that is roughly we are seeing. So the logical cross connections also you can see that in the figure number 3. So furthermore, if you are going as indicated in the optical cross connect, OXC means what, optical cross connect. So makes it possible to provide an interface between different transmission methodologies. So it should be noted that OXC comprises of N cross N optical switching fabric. So cross connections between optical and electronic network nodes. So however, it's required of electronic conversions. So now after optical cross connect, we can go for the understanding of wavelength interchangeable cross connect. It is WIXC. So wavelength, okay, so you can see that wavelength division multiplexed nodes. Okay, so your broadcast and select networks is there. So in wavelength routing, instead of disturbing the message over the entire network, the signal is routed to the specific destination through the either a single node or to the multiple node. So here fixed transmitters will be there, tunable receivers will be there. Okay, those are also fixed. So all transmitters will be transmitting the data in different wavelength. So those are given to the star coupler. So once it is being given to the star coupler, so okay, star coupler will take the data. Okay, so it will it will divide the power equally to the all receivers. Okay, so broadcast and select network configuration I can able to see in this particular diagram. So after that wavelength routing, I can see that in the diagram. So in the figure A connect you the physical connection. That means for two-way switching is there A, B, C, D, 5 nodes are there. So wavelength assignments are there. So in the wavelength assignments, lambda 1 is traveling from A to B, lambda 2 is traveling from C to B, lambda 2 is also traveling from C to D. So and lambda 1 is traveling from C to E via the B. Okay. So some arrangements we have given. Okay. So once it is been given, you can see that virtual how it is going to happen. Okay. So in sometimes only one connection is enough, and sometimes two-way connection is also required. So in particular thing, the both the multi broadcast and select and wavelength routing networks. So these can be divided into single hop or multi hop. Okay. So what is this particular single hop and multi hop? Single hop networks allows the direct communication between any two nodes, and the data remains entirely in the optical domain. That is called what single hop network. So when talking about the multi hop, in a multi hop network, transmission may take place through intermediate nodes before reaching the destination. So at each intermediate node, the data can be switched electronically to the next possible node, and it is retransmitted as an optical signal. So this is one of the can enable to understand multi-hop network. So there will be intermediate nodes. At each intermediate node, the data can be switched electronically to the next possible node, and then it is retransmitted as an optical signal. Okay, so next we can go for the telecommunication network overview, that is PSTN. So this is the public telecommunication network overview, that is PSTN. So you can see that in the long haul or core, okay. So here what exactly the thing is, what the area is, the radius 10,000 hundreds to 1,000 of kilometer, okay. 100 10 to 1,000 kilometer radius. So 1 kilometer radius is huge. Okay. So here optical cross connects will be there in the top. You can see that. That is called what long haul. So here but a particular optical cross connect by using the optical or electronic connections. So we can go for the next lower level, that is metropolitan. So in the metropolitan, instead of optical cross connect, we will be using the OADM, that is optical adder drop multiplexer. So this particular optical adder drop multiplexer it will be in the terms of 10 seconds to something like below 10 kilometer. That means what, below 90 kilometer, 70 kilometer, like that. So tens of kilometers. So metropolitan area will be there. So after we are going for the next lower level, that is access network. So when you go for the access network, it is something like a few of kilometer. So few kilometer means what, minus 20 kilometer. So minus, not minus 20, means approximate 20 kilometer, means what, less than 20 kilometer. Okay, so less than 10 to kilometer. In that particular thing, there is no concept of OADM or OXC. Then we'll go for the local exchange office. Remote node. That means what? From the country to the state we can come. From the state to district we can come. From the district, your area you can come, like that. Very small. Okay, so 20 kilometers of radius we can able to choose. In that, the local exchange office is there. Okay, so India BSNL office we say. So there. So there you can see the remote, and from the remote node, all the users will be connected. So multiples of thousands, lakhs of users can be connected in the access network. So public telecommunication network overview, you can see that if you just brief out long haul network, metropolitan, and access network. In the access is the minimum, that is the lowest possible end user, and metropolitan is intermediate between long haul and access. Those metropolitan will be covering the tens of kilometers. Okay. So there the technology will be used as optical add or drop multiplexers will be used. Okay. So when you go for the higher version, that is long haul, for the largest distance of like hundreds to thousands of kilometers, we are going to use the optical cross connect. Okay, so that's we can see that, and tomorrow class we can see that synchronous network.